And welcome to episode 70 of the Inventive Marketing Club. We're here every week to help you build a better marketing strategy. On this week, we're going to talk about starting a YouTube channel. So I've got special guest, Nigel Smith. He's a videographer from his company, Supermotion. And he started a YouTube channel focusing on agribusiness. So we're going to talk a little bit about his business, why he's focusing on that niche, and why he started the YouTube channel. How are you doing, Nigel?
Very well, thanks, Ben. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, and a pleasure for re-recording. I know we've had some schedule changes, so thank you for speaking to me at the end of the day.
No problem, no problem.
So can you just tell us a little bit about your business background, Supermotion, and why you're focused on agribusiness?
Sure thing, no problem. So I started Supermotion about 5 years ago, full service video production company. Pre-production, production, post-production. We film all over the UK, and our edit facilities are here in Marshfield. So just in between Bristol and Bath. And I sort of, around me, there is a lot of agriculture. And it just so happened one of my biggest clients was in that kind of world. He ran an events business and he did a lot of events work in agriculture and food. And it just kind of, you kind of, after you start working in an area and it just so happened I loved it as well. I loved visiting farms a lot more than I loved traveling into London and lugging production equipment around in London is
on the tube, not fun.
Yeah, so I love London, just don't like shooting in London, but if anyone's got any work for me in London, I do travel to London. Anyway, I just enjoyed working on farms. I believed in what the farmers that I met were doing, and what I read in the papers and in a lot of press was not what I was seeing. So in the press, there's a, it was always pretty anti-farming. And so I wanted to help support them, get their message out and tell the stories that I was seeing that them make. So that's why I decided to focus on agriculture and food. And it's not, that's one answer anyway. Another answer is all about niching. So I don't know if you want me to roll straight into that.
Yeah, please, because before we do that, we met through Cool Ventures. So Cool Ventures is an organization around the South Gloucestershire and Bath area, and they provide some funding towards training for businesses. And I think you got into that program somehow, and we met through, they were providing some funded consultancy for search optimization. So that's how we were thrown together. And that kind of tells the story about maybe some of what you're going to talk about later. But I was particularly interested in the niche because I know a lot of people who work in the creative industry, graphic designers, copywriters, and video and photographer people. But they all generally work for whoever, whoever's got money waving it, they'll go and do that. Whereas you were very focused and had more recently focused on the agriculture industry. And I thought it's fascinating, because it does really limit the amount of clients you have, but you are much more focused. You can really, I think, deliver a better service for them because you understand their industry a lot more. Do you find that has helped you niching?
Yeah,
like that?
Absolutely, yeah. That's one reason. I think it also depends what market you're in and who you are, what business you've got. Like if you're in a highly saturated market like I am, like video production, everyone's got a camera these days, then I think it made sense to me anyway to niche and be very specific about who I was targeting and who I wanted to help. So I'd say that's a good opportunity to niche. If you're in a saturated market but you believe in what you're doing, you're good at what you're doing, then focus, certainly in terms of your outward marketing, because if you don't, then your marketing is going to get lost. You're going to have to spend an enormous amount of money to get through to potential prospects and clients. But if you niche down, then you can spend less money, be more focused with the money you do spend, and hopefully get that message through to the right people.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a way of sticking out and standing out in a crowded market, and being seen as that expert. Yeah, that makes sense.
Absolutely. And you not just you do become an expert in that field as well. Forgive the pun.
Quite literally, yeah.
So I'm definitely not an expert in agriculture. I don't think I ever will be, even if I stayed in that sector my entire life, because you literally have to be born on a farm and live and breathe it their entire, it's an enormous subject. And whenever I go and film there, I am, relatively clueless, but I kind of understand a lot more than a production company that doesn't specialize in agriculture, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't see it as necessarily a negative thing that I'm almost a layman, because it helps me translate anything that's overly techie into a digestible video that almost anyone can watch and enjoy.
Yeah, and absolutely. And what a lovely place to do your work as well, rather than in a city. You can get out and about and go and see these lovely places.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, love it. Love going out onto farms. Great place to fly a drone around, and lots of space, big impressive things. Love filming big stuff. And yeah, so I mean, in all honesty, Ben, if someone did come to me and say, "Oh, we'd love you we've seen some of your work, we'd love you to make a video," and it wasn't in the agriculture and food sector, I probably wouldn't say no. But what I'm saying is, so you don't, just because you niche, you don't have to only work in that sector.
Yeah,
it's just you're spending all your time and energy focusing on going down one particular route, and that way your energy, your outward facing marketing energy is being very precise, and you'll hopefully get better results that way. But if that doesn't mean you can only work in those sectors. Like if friends of friends, referral partners, that kind of stuff, I through other channels that isn't connected to my marketing, and doesn't rely on a back catalogue of comparable videos. So I think that's worth making as well. That you just because you decide to niche and all of your marketing is pointing in a certain direction, you can still get work in other areas.
Yeah, I think that's a valid point. It's something I come up against when I speak to people who are trying to we're trying to find what the messaging is on their website, and they're saying, well, I do this for these people, and for me it's too confusing. There's too much to focus on, and so their website becomes very busy and very confused. And so even if they might not be niching, but just focusing, let's focus on one particular audience, that's great. It means everything you've said, you can focus all your efforts, marketing budget on that one, and hopefully become more successful in that. But it doesn't mean you need to turn down work if it comes in from outside. All right. I'll just mention, I'm very concerned by this car that keeps appearing. So I'm sharing my screen at the moment, sharing the Supermotion website. And you've got your Supermotion vehicle is driving up the field and driving off the screen, but then it's reappearing in the field again. Which I find
just scroll off, then scroll off.
Yeah, it's triggering me.
Work in progress. That it's not how I want.
No, it's great though. And actually, when I first met you, you had, I think it was a vet. You had a little video of a vet, and I really like the whole sort of full screen video effect going on. It's really nice.
That's my pickup truck. So I'm all in on the agriculture.
You are. We might come back to your branding as well, and that you're very good at sort of going all in on the branding. Okay, well let's. Yeah, absolutely. Which is, it'd be interesting to see, because I think you found that was quite important to get that right first. But that's a little teaser. Yeah. Should we talk about the YouTube channel? Let's go
sure.
have a quick look at it. I'm sharing on the screen, so we've got the channel up here. But before we dive into that, why? Why did you start a YouTube channel?
Well, I touched upon it a little bit before. It was that injustice that I saw. So it's about giving a platform for companies in the agriculture and food industry who are doing brave new things in those industries for the environment. So it's something I think is a worthy cause, and like I say, I saw these injustices, and it's great to be able to give them a platform, and it's going quite well so far, although trying to find the time to do it is a challenge, as I'm sure you can recognize, Ben.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're doing pretty well, actually. So far, you've got just almost 2,500 subscribers. And you certainly showed me the link in August. Early August is when you shared the link with me. I'm not sure if you had it running a little bit before that. I think it's pretty good. I think it's very good to get going. And actually, even your very first video, which we've got down here, your very first video, which you had online. Oh, here's an advert. We'll just skip through that advert. So even the very first,
I don't get money for that advert.
I know. Yeah, you need to have more subscribers and more views to be able to get monetization. But then eventually you can do. So even this really nice trailer which you put forward to give people an idea about what the channel's about is really good. But you had like 3,500 views on it now, but you had a good number of views at the time when I saw it. So there's obviously a lot of people who are interested in it and are stumbling across it in one way or another.
Yeah, I think mostly suggested videos. So I've sort of drilled into the analytics a little bit, and there's a lot of suggested videos. So getting those sort of keywords right, and so the Google algorithm knows that it's about agriculture and food, and getting the descriptions right, and so YouTube then suggests the video, and it kind of spreads from there. And that's certainly one way that it's sort of it's been quite successful.
So let's step back a little bit. Maybe you would just share some of the process you've gone through in terms of
at the end of my video. Sorry, Ben. You see at the end of that's what I was talking about. So at the end of my video,
let me go back here.
It suggests someone else's video that's about agriculture, and then you've got a whole long list there. So you can see on the right column there, another one of mine has popped up. And so sorry to interrupt. I didn't hear your question.
No, it's quite valid. You just need more videos. Just flood videos of very, very relevant topics is going to help you sort of dominate that. What I wanted to look at is just take a step back. Would you walk us through the process of creating the channel in the first place? Because it wasn't just a case of, I'm going to set up go to YouTube, create a new channel, and away we go. There was a lot of work that you did before you even went onto YouTube to make sure, sort of test out the idea, the concept, before even going into it.
Well, first you need a true genius to come up with the idea, a marketing genius, should we say. And that was you, sir, which is why I've agreed to come on this podcast. So yeah, Ben and I were doing we're doing some coaching, and yeah, because you ran a podcast, I think you thought it might be a good idea for
I've got a bit of bias towards it,
me to do something similar or comparable, and I think it was a tough call knowing what platform to choose, because podcasts are huge. I'm a big fan of podcasts, and to be honest, I think the Agri Food Pioneers would have sat just as well as a podcast, maybe better than on YouTube. But I think it's because I'm a video production company. I'm a fan of YouTube as well. I use it all the time to solve any problem I have in life. So I just decided go for YouTube, and it seems to be working. It feels like it's found its home there. So that's the first thing. Get some advice, have an idea about the subject, and then find out where it lives, because it doesn't have to, that's what we're doing now is very similar to what I do on the Agri Food Pioneers. It's just an interview. That's not to say that's all I'll ever do. I do have hopes and dreams for the Agri Food Pioneers, maybe being a bit bigger in terms of its ambitions one day. But yeah, so get some advice, some expert advice. In my case, that was you. Find out where it lives. Then you need to work on your branding, name, and format. So if it is YouTube, I definitely wouldn't suggest that what I'm doing is ideal. I do what I'm doing because it's an addition to my business. It's not a profitable part of the business, and it's I don't have much time. So just
I think that was one of the key things you said when we were talking about the idea. The time sort of issue always came up. It's like, well, this is a great idea potentially, but how am I going to achieve it? And I think for that reason, there's got to be a strong reason for doing it. Now, there are some reasons you articulated it to do it, but it's also, I think, it was to meet potential customers. To get access to people that you might be able to work with. I mean, there's no guarantee, but you might be able to work with them. And I think knowing that, it becomes part of your marketing, and you can think about it in a different way.
Yeah, quite. So it depends on your sort of goals. And for me, my goals are, I think top is give these pioneers of the agriculture and food industry a platform. Hopefully help them on their journey, because I think what we're doing to the planet is appalling. So if there's people doing good things, I genuinely want to give them a platform. And secondly, I thought there was something else. No, I think second is if you know who your client is, then the next stage is going to meet them and building a relationship with them. And this is a great way to do that. A half-hour interview, you do feel like you've sort of made a friendship almost. Well, sometimes, most of the time, I'm finding these are all really lovely people. So what a great way to meet a client and give them a helping hand on their way. And then you've got to know them a bit. And then I always send them a hat, because they are,
oh right,
yes, they get an Agri Food Pioneers hat. So that goes out in the post with an offer and a flyer about everything we want. It's like a booklet about everything we do. So
that's great.
Then it's entirely up to them whether, if they. I hope my hope is never to put pressure on the guests. It's more to just kind of, when the time comes for them to, if they do want to do any video work, then they'll think, oh yeah, I remember that interview with that guy.
I like that Nigel chap. He seemed nice. He seemed interested in my business.
That guy who knows nothing about agriculture but pretends he does. That guy.
Well, it's always when you're networking, the people you remember and you think you had a good conversation with are the people who listen to you, are the people who are actually asking you lots of questions. So it does help you become more memorable. I think one of the other areas we were looking at for this idea was search optimization, because it actually came from the idea of getting more people to look at your Supermotion website.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think you've linked any of these videos to Supermotion. Are you keeping it separate? Is this potentially going to have its own identity online in a website, or are you going to you just haven't brought it into Supermotion yet?
It's a strategic plan, Ben. I'm joking. Have I not done that?
I don't think so.
The channel itself definitely links back to the website, but I think you're right in that the individual videos don't. Thank you for pointing it out. I will correct that. But yeah, if you go onto the channel and then you go to the website of the channel, there does
It does indeed, yes.
Be a bit more of a kitchen. I am one of the things that I need to link it. One of the things I'm doing with the website at the moment is having a whole Agri Food Pioneers section on there, and that will then link to YouTube. Then I just need to try and reinforce that link back as well, so it's going both ways. But that's definitely something I can work a bit harder on.
Yeah, because it's not just about you using this to learn more, to give a voice to these people who are doing good things and potentially to meet new customers. It's about when people come to your Supermotion website, if they can see the videos on there, then you actually are doing all this stuff. Well, that is unusual, I would say, for most freelancers or creatives to be doing this sort of work, really. And so it helps you stand out. So not just standing out because you're niched, but also standing out because you're going above and beyond just doing work for people.
Oh,
that's the way I'd look at it.
Well, I'm not surprised you look at it like that, Ben, because it was your idea.
It also because it's video, it shows up what you could do, so it seems ideal, really. But what I liked about you were quite sort of hesitant of the idea to begin with. Well, not hesitant. You like the idea, but hesitant about the time. But when you sort of grabbed it, you were all in. Like we came up with the name, the pitch, the format for your shows. You wanted a really good, strong format for it. And I think that was to give you not the confidence so much, but when you are speaking to people to see if they want to become guests.
Yeah.
I think it was helpful to have an idea. Yes.
That's about as all in as you can get.
Yeah. The
Sending
logo
off for a branded microphone cover. I mean,
wow.
They're not cheap. They're surprisingly expensive. But yeah, no, you're right. That's kind of me, I think. Just full tilt, all or nothing kind of thing. And I think that's what you kind of need to be like if you want to. I mean, I understand what you mean about hesitancy. I was hesitant for two reasons. One was time. Like when I get busy here, it's very busy, and I don't have time to do much in the way of working on the business stuff. Yeah. So I'm fully in it. So that was one of the things, reasons I was hesitant. The other is I'm a video production company. I pride myself on making very good videos. So high quality video. So how could I possibly have a YouTube channel churning out, Zoom interviews, and that's it. And as soon as I got over those two hurdles, it was go full tilt, and got branded, got it all on there, promoted it to hell, and yeah, we're starting to get some traction now.
Yeah, I was very excited when you sent the logo through. You just sent an email saying like, here it is, and it's just the logo. I was like, yes.
I know, I was excited. I wanted to share it with you.
No, it's really cool.
It's like a new child had been born. It was when my graphic designer did it. He did me. You know how they work and they do a bunch of different designs, and in that one he got it straight away, and that one just. It shone its light on me, and I loved it immediately.
I'm just going to share the screen again for people to see it. You can just see it in the background, or there's the little version here. I don't know if you've got a bigger version, but it's basically a microphone as an ear of corn. It's it's a bit small on that one, but it's we'll have to see if we can get.
Not very.
No, but it's cool. It's cool. It's exactly right for a sort of video podcast thing to incorporate a microphone in it. But as an ear of corn, it's perfect. It works really well. I love it. So just quickly,
it sits well. It's well with the it's the same font and
same colors.
Yeah. So it sits well alongside the motion branding.
Yeah, it's no accident. So just could we talk a little bit about guests in terms of how you approach people, how you found people, how you approach people? Because you've got 8 videos on here now. Last one was a day ago. So how do you find the right people and then convince them to come on and chat to you for 20 minutes or so?
So a combination of ways. One is I'm in that sort of world anyway, filming, so I meet people, and if people are doing impressive things, I can ask them if they want to promote it on the channel. Secondly, networking. When I network, I often talk about the channel and see if anyone knows anyone that wants to be involved. That has garnered a few guests, a couple of guests maybe. Third one is a virtual assistant. So, oh, that's weird, looking at myself talking while I'm talking.
In the same position.
So I use a virtual assistant for some admin work, and she found me about 20 people, and she went after them and tried to get them in. And that's probably the best way that I've found anyone. And the final one is LinkedIn. So following the right people, LinkedIn makes suggestions about other people you might want to follow.
Right. So you're using its algorithm to go and find people. Excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sales Navigator as well. I subscribed to that for a month and found people that way. So yeah, those are the four main ways. And then it's just about finding the right guest. I mean, not just do the interview and then that's it. Just be involved in promoting it and getting behind it. If they ask for your logo and marketing assets, you're on the right path. So yeah, I've got I'm really excited about a couple I've got coming up. Like Naked Wines won a sustainability award, so I've got them in the next couple of weeks, and a couple of others which I can't talk about yet as they are unconfirmed.
I like it. I think it was one of the hardest things, getting guests and sort of encourage them to get onto your program. So the fact that you've managed to do that and people are excited to come on and do this is brilliant. And hopefully, the more you get, the more you'll get, because you've now got a body of work that's starting to form here. So you can now show them previous interviews and show. So like this one's got 16,000 views. So you can show them the effectiveness and say, actually, if you come on, you're going to get something out of it. You're not just having a chat with me. We're going to get some promotion out of it. So I think that's, the more you do, it just sort of helps reinforce that over a period of time.
Either that or I'll run out of people. One or the
I think you've got plenty of people for at least a run. I remember when we were talking about initially, the idea was maybe just do it as a short series, just do a 5 or 10 series, because then you're not committed. Hopefully, it's something you can keep running.
No, so, I'm going to roll on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it can work really well. So just a couple of things I want to just tease out of you is how do you put this together? Obviously, you mentioned Zoom. That's how you sort of capture the initial recording. But what do you then use to put on a bit of the motion graphics you've got going on? I noticed when the logo smashes in and comes out, it all wobbles a little bit. What do you use to edit and process the audio and video?
I think I mentioned that I run a video production company, Ben.
Oh yeah, just a little bit, yeah.
So you'd think I could bash out a video like that? Yeah, it's yeah, absolutely. I use the Adobe suite, so Premiere, After Effects, Photoshop, all of that business.
So all of the tools of the trade.
Yeah, that's how we handle post-production here primarily. There's a couple of other little bits of software, but and yeah, the animated logo is done in After Effects, and the rest of it is done in Premiere, Adobe Premiere. So it's not like a heavy workload in terms of the post-production. And this is one of the first videos, so I just let that roll. If you go to another one, a more recent one, then you'll see it sort of punches into the guest speaker, which at least helps a little bit.
Yeah, I noticed that on.
So that was the very first one I did, that you just played. That was an amazing guy. But now, so you'll see If you like, that's just the intro bit.
There we go. Jumps in.
But now it pops into full screen when he's speaking, then it comes back to both of us when I ask a question or interject. And that's a bit better. It's a bit more post-production, a bit more effort, but it's still like not how I want it. Obviously, I want to be there.
It'd be really nice, for you to be there.
But he was in like Dubai or somewhere,
right?
So anyway, I'd love it to just mix it up and then make proper little videos and film what they're talking about. So he was talking about seaweed. I'd love to do a film about seaweed and get him and interview him properly. It'd be brilliant. Yeah, Agri Food Pioneers on BBC One by Supermotion.
Yeah, there'll be a series soon. And something else, just talking about clients and editing, at the end, I don't know if it's at this one, it just jumps to the end. Yeah, at the end, you do a little call to action. Let's see if we can watch that. So you bounce out your logo, and then rather than just ending, you've got a little call to action where you talk about, well, if you're, if you want to effectively come on this, get in touch or share this with other people. And I really like that because that's helping propagate it. So the people who are watching this are potentially people who are going to want to come on. We just come off all these other videos here. So it's helping to promote it without you having to do that work. I don't know if you've seen any people who've come off the back of that yet, but over time you should.
No, but hopefully, that's the plan. So it's always got the same close, me sort of saying, are you an agri-food pioneer? Get in touch now. And that is that kind of call to action right at the close. In a different setting as well. So that is properly filmed, me in a field. And then in Premiere, you just cut the screen in half, and then the suggested video and the subscribe icon are then added in YouTube.
Yeah, you can place those in YouTube, can't you?
Yeah, and as long as your end is exactly the same, like mine is, then it's quite easy in YouTube then to just place them on top. We don't have to mess around with timings or anything. No.
So just as we draw to the end of this, what outcomes have you got? Any positive outcomes off the back of the work you've been doing here? Are you starting to see things happen?
Yeah.
Where are you with it?
Yeah, really good signs of optimism in terms of, I mean, this is a long-term project for me. I don't expect quick wins here. I don't think anyone going into this as a marketing exercise should, because anyone who knows anything about sales, it's having its relationships, it's drip, like constantly being relevant. It's not sell on like, it's no point me trying to sell my guests a video when they don't need a video. That's how I look at it anyway. But that said, I've made connections. I've been put in touch with marketing departments. I've got my database is, my CRM system is increasing in its number, and now it's up to me to just maintain those relationships.
Yeah, I gave your name to someone just the other day. They were actually attending a workshop, and they were a PR company in the agri business, and I was like, well, this is a match made in heaven. You've got to this is a guy who niches in that. You've got to talk. And I think because you've got a platform where people see you more, it's just easy because you keep saying, Nigel, oh yeah, and when you are ready to refer or ready to get in touch with you, you're there. And I think, that's great. So it's great that those things are starting to come to fruition. Brilliant.
Oh, that's good to hear. I'm glad you feel like that. That reinforces my decision to sort of carry on and pursue this. Thank you.
Good. Have you got any one tip that you could sort of end on? What one thing that maybe that if you someone else was starting this, well, someone who's starting this, what you would do differently, or just one key thing that you would recommend to people who want to start promoting in this particular way?
Good tip. I haven't got anything interesting. Just planning. I think doing do market research, make sure you can get the guests, or make sure you can create the content, and make sure you can edit it, make sure you've got a format. Like how are you going to do this? Is it going to be interview, or is it going to be story led? How are you going to film it? How are you going to market the videos after they're done? And yeah, just get all your graphics ready. You know, I'm definitely not the like a big YouTube success story. Geez, not at all. But like, if you want to use it like I'm using it to give a worthy cause a platform and hopefully make some more connections in those industries, then just planning properly. And I invested a bit of money in it as well, with a graphic designer and a virtual assistant. So might be worth doing that, unless you can do those things yourself. And good luck on your YouTube journey.
That's perfect. Where can we find you online? If people want to get you in to do a video in anything, not just agriculture, where can they find you online?
Supermotion.co.uk. Yeah, feel free to check out the website, or just email me at hello@supermotion.co.uk.
And I haven't worked in a video capacity with Nigel, but I've spent a lot of time. We've spent a number of weeks talking while we're doing the consultancy, and you are very diligent and care about what you do. So if I can recommend anything, it's that you will take care of people and you'll want to do the right thing. And you know, from looking at your testimonials and video reel, I'm absolutely happy to recommend you. So people should definitely get in touch. Thank you very much. No, my pleasure. Thank you, Nigel. I'm just going to share what's coming up next week with everyone. So we're going to be looking at some of the top WordPress plugins that I use. I'm going to be taking a look through my WordPress plugins folder and sharing some of the ones I use on a day-to-day basis for search optimization, for form building, stuff like that. Plus a few I'm just testing out. So I'm not really ready to recommend them yet, but you know, we can have a look through them, including some ones that do AI generated text, which is quite interesting. So wow. We're here every Friday from 10 a.m. We cover everything in marketing, strategy, social media, SEO, talking a little bit about video, but just from our perspective, how you use it rather than the production of it, and more. If you've got something exciting to share, let us know. Email support@ratherinventive.com, or you can get in touch with us on LinkedIn and let me know, because we'd love to have you on. And don't forget, if you're a member, you can catch up to all the previous webinars on our website. That's ratherinventive.com/membership. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.